CrossFit Hotline show, but then decided to go with the Dave Castro Week in Review. Didn't do yesterday. Savannah's packing. He's on his way to LA right now for the Wodapalooza, SoCal. And he's like, yeah, you want to do Dave Castro Week in Review in the morning? And I was like, absolutely. Then I don't have to stress about the content for the show. Last time the call-in might have been a little slow. So we're going to dive right into it, and then we'll go from there. We have a good question. Yeah. No, it's me. It's me. Good morning, Jessica. What's up? How you guys doing? How are you guys doing? All right. We're just going to dive right into it. We're going to dive right into it. Too blessed to be stressed. That's what I'm talking about, Jeff. Matt Schindeldecker. What's up, dude? How you doing? Excited to get Director Wilson out and around. This will be good. I spoke with our friend. It sounds like they might be getting it set for the CrossFit podcast first. Jenny, what's up? I'm excited to hang out with you this week. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. No, we can review. No, we will. If we get through it quick, it's 18 minutes and 45 seconds. If we get through it quick, maybe we'll turn on the call line and see what's up. Jeremy, what's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? Bailed out by the week in review. That's right. There was a comment on my last show. Somebody said, you know who else relies on the chat for content? That was rude. That was rude. Whitney, how you doing? Susan, is there a Matuthian code? Great question. I don't think there is, but I think I could get you one. So hang tight. Let me do something after the end of the show here. Susie, you need to do another 7-minute monologue before you start the week in review. Man, the shows are just like too early, honestly. On the days that I don't coach 5:30 a.m., I sleep until like almost 6 or so. And it takes a while for me to get up and get my brain going in the morning. Typically, I enjoy getting up and like reading for about 30 minutes or so. And that like really puts me in a calm mood. If I really want to get riled up in the morning, I look at our chat here and usually I'm being made fun of. So that usually gets me fired up. Oh, man. Okay, we're going to get right into the Dave Week in Review. Teeny words. Okay, maybe we'll go with this one. We'll switch it up since it's just me. How about that? How about that? All right, here we go. Dave Castro. I have not watched this one. So we will see. What would Hermosa do? Yeah, exactly. It's like the same bullshit, right? Joke's fucking old. Cody, what's up, man? I'm excited to be at Affiliate Con end of October. If any of you guys are going or considering going, you should. The list of speakers are stacked, and I'll be doing a talk on media for media launch bound, affiliate media, personal brand media. If you're a coach, it'll be fun. It'll be a cool interactive workshop. So come on down if you guys are in the area or considering it. Rotor, was this supposed to be a Dave's review? No, but it is now. Here we go. No one gets made fun of like I do, so you're good, dude. Jeremy, you would think that, but no, man. you gotta hang out with us. Jody, hi. Good morning. Everybody's here. This is good. Stefan, what's up, man? All right, here we go. We're gonna dive right in. Let me know if there's an echo.
Monday, September 15th, 2025, week in review. So yesterday, Sunday, I flew out to Vegas and spent a couple hours at the CrossFit Adaptive Games that Kevin Ogar and his team put together. They put on it. That one's always really cool and powerful in terms of just like what's going on there and what those athletes are doing and how they are pretty much the embodiment of CrossFit. And so it's of like the best of CrossFit. They're not there trying to make millions or trying to become an Instagram celebrity. They're there competing just out of passion and the fact that it's impacted their life so powerfully. And so
that could not be more true. That's amazing. First off, I'd just like to note that I don't think there's any other CrossFit exec or even really like, dare we call Dave a CrossFit personality in the space that goes to more competitions. Like he usually, I think at majority of the semifinals, he like dropped in for a day. He went to the adaptive. He's gone to some local stuff before if it's close by. Like he literally like drops into all of them. And I completely agree with the fact that he said that Boz does too. Yeah, but Dave really like travels far for these things. But yeah, so we want Sevi Souza gotta go. Okay, here, I'll help you out with that, buddy. Bye. So yeah, that's I think that's really cool that he does all that. And the other thing I was gonna say is about the adaptive stuff. That was almost like a shot at some of the games athletes, right? Because as they're focused on professionalizing the sport, as they're focused on trying to make more money and what's in it for them, I love the fact that he basically is saying, yeah, they're just in it because of how much it changed their lives, and they're just like literally there to compete and have fun and be passionate about CrossFit, which is like really cool. No, I didn't ban that dude. I put him on timeout. And yeah, fuck you guys. Understand some shit here and how this fucking shit works from now on. I'm feeling some type of way this morning. All right, we'll go back in.
All of the athletes are amazing, and what they're doing, it's a really impressive event. I think that one definitely pulling back kind of around the games is something I'm going to look at. Not us running, but same thing, Kevin running and trying to be in the same location at the same time as the games. Trying to do the same thing with the.
Wait, did he just say that he's going to try to bring it back into the games?
Yeah, not us running, but same thing, Kevin running. I think that one definitely pulling back kind of around the games is something I'm going to look at. Not us running, but same thing, Kevin running and trying to be in the same location at the same time as the games.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I like the fact that he's going to bring that back in. That would be awesome. And I think it's super important, especially for the adaptive stuff, right? Like he was, yeah, CrossFit. He's being careful with his words. He was, because it's not like he wants to make too many promises that he might not be able to keep. But having the adaptive athletes and really even the age groups too. Sorry, not so much the teens, but the masters, especially the older divisions, like having that incorporated. Fuck it, just ditch the teams and bring in the masters and the adaptive. I mean, that really like showcases CrossFit. I had the pleasure of working with two adaptive athletes over the years at the gym. One was a seated athlete. They both were, but one had prosthetics that was able to move around, amputee, like right below the knee in one leg and right above the knee in the other. And another woman was in a accident and was paralyzed from the waist down in a chair. And I would tell you, like, you know, if you're a coach and you know when people like make big gains or they get PRs or they're trying to tell you how much they changed your life, it's amazing. But when people like that in the adaptives and you could give them back some sort of physical freedom and their confidence and things like that, it's a whole new level of just feeling really, really good about what you do. Down Pepper, Souza hates teens. No, I don't hate the teens. I don't hate the teens. It's just like less impressive than a 65-year-old woman like cranking out bar muscle ups and handstand walks. Sorry. The teens could stay just because Dallon's here. Now I feel bad. All right, back in.
Trying to do the same thing with the age groups, that's a little more challenging because of the number of people and the number of and the space required to make that happen in addition to all the stuff we have going on. But with those guys, they were in like 40,000 square feet and they were making that competition happen. So something I'm going to consider looking at for our team for next year for the games, pulling the adaptive. Kevin's still running it, but pulling it similar week, similar location as a games. But really excited or really happy when there. Met a lot of cool people. I was surprised at how many people came from overseas. There was a lot of French athletes, Brazilian athletes, Italian athletes. I met someone from Korea. So really cool. It was nice hearing all the stories, meeting affiliate owners, meeting the athletes, and just catching up with them. Again, Kevin and the team, they do a really good job. And all the people there supporting them, thanks to all the fans and all the sponsors who went to support that event. It really does have like an old school feel to it. Early days CrossFit, just such a positive energy. So I had a really good time there. I'm impressed with what they did.
Damn, he seems kind of moved by that, huh? He seems moved by that. That's cool. That's really cool.
Hybrid level 2. So we have a few. I think I've talked about this recently, but I'll talk about it again. Hybrid level 2. We have a few of those up.
Hybrid level 2 is terrible. It's stupid. You could just end it right now. You don't do the level 2 course online. You don't do the level 1 course online. Criminy. Is that just me? Do you guys feel the same way? I don't know. There's something about being in person for those events. There's something about saving up the money to go and do it, picking out the hotel, like the nearest location. Like I think it takes away from it. And the other thing too is like without having the L1 seminar staff like there in front of you. And I've heard people say that the online one is good, but like not really, because now I'm like sitting at home and I'm doing it in my living room or whatever. Like I just think it should be in person. It should be in person. And the connections that you make with the other people that are in your class is also super important. Like I don't think that should be understated. When you're there, you're kind of like with that group of everybody that's like, it's like a little summer camp thing. It's like a condensed summer camp. By Sunday, you're leaving and you're like high-fiving the people you were there with. And you're like, yeah, I'll hit you up. Of course, you're never going to talk to them again. But it's cool. And then you remember some of the people that were there. And if you do it locally too, the chances of somebody being in your L1 that you're going to run into again in the community become pretty high. So I think it should be in person. I get why they're doing it. It's cheaper, right? So you make more money off it. Raise the price a little bit, throw it in person, drop your operating costs down. Jamie Latimer, for a first go, I totally agree. Yeah, and you know what, Jamie? That's a good point. Oh, Hattie, what's up? I'm doing your level 2 next weekend. Oh, man, you're going to love it. It's a pressure cooker, though. When I did a couple weeks back, I did the free kind of coaches development at the gym. And that's what I do. I just mimic the L2. So you get in small breakouts groups. We talk about points of performance. We set a timer and have you coach a movement for a certain amount of time. And then the group gives you feedback on it. And the next person goes. It's really cool. The one suggestion that I would have is just like, don't worry about what you do. Like, don't try to be super good at it. Just take everything in. But the level 1 for the first time, like, I guess if you're renewing it and you just have to, because it's going to inspire, I'm not as like being there in person, I guess, isn't as crucial. So that's a good point that you're making, Jamie. But I do think that it should definitely, the first time should be in person. And I don't understand how you would do the level 2 online. And I guess that's why it's hybrid, because you'll have some of the lecture material online, and then maybe you go somewhere for one day. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school, but I think the level 2 in person is absolutely crucial. There's still one day in person for the hybrid. Yeah. Well, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Like, if you already have to go in one day, why not just do 2? That's what it takes up a whole weekend. Like, screw it. You need to be dedicated. I don't know. 5 a.m. squat club. The coaching of the L2 has to be in person. Yeah. Only the theories and lectures are online. Yeah, but then it changes the course, doesn't it, Chase? Because wasn't the first, like, isn't it usually like lecture, breakout group, and then the next day it's like lecture, a ton of breakout groups, and then you do the workout, like the seminar staff takes you through a workout so you could kind of see what that hour-long class is supposed to look like. So I think it changes it a little bit. I really think they should be in person. I also wouldn't be against having like 4 or 5 major locations that they're all done at, and you just know that you go to those locations and you try to make them as central as possible. That way you could drop possibly overhead that way too. But I don't know. In person all the way for sure on your first time. You could renew it maybe online, but L2 in person, first time L1 in person. That's my final answer.
Basically, it's a one-day version of the level 2. The ones overseas are selling really well. We have some here in the States in the Northwest that are selling well too. There's a few others that are open in other locations. basically you do all the lectures at home at your own convenience, and you do all the movement instruction in one day. So you don't have to commit 2 days to take the course. You just do it in one day. We also have the mentor program still going. So you can sign up for the mentor program and take time for 1 session, 3 sessions, or 5 sessions and work with one of our trainers via Zoom to talk about things you want to talk about to be better at. So if you're looking at improving as a coach, and you already have your level 2, or you have your level 1, and are thinking about going to your level 2, or you want someone to help you work with your level 3, even studying for it, check out the mentor program.
That should all be online like live shows, and that should all be free. The shows. They should be releasing those calls like as long as the person who's having them, like you're with, is comfortable with it. But why in the world wouldn't you have those mentor calls live online on shows where everybody could benefit from it? They should be giving away a ton of that stuff. And that's going to push people to the courses, especially if you did a ton of those shows online and you talked about all the questions that coaches had and had the discussions and everything else. That's just going to make people want to go in person and take the course. They got to be releasing some of that stuff more. The other thing too is like, that's what's going to showcase the expertise of CrossFit versus everything else. Like, you're never going to have any of these other imitating style workout things like High Rocks or whatever the hell. And you're definitely not going to have Orange Theories and F45 doing all of their mentorship online on shows for us to go and watch. Like, come on. They should definitely be doing that. I also think too, they should ditch the L3 being a test. I don't think that should be a test. I think that should be like in person and you run a class and stuff. Like, that's really where the rubber meets the road. Like, you're not going to show up to an affiliate and be like, this is our L7 here. He's passed 7 tests, but then he sucks on the floor. What? Like, on the floor coaching has so much more to do with your communication, has so much more with your ability to adapt to the person in front of you and change your style of coaching on the fly, be able to do different cues that resonate with that person, utilizing visual, verbal, tactile. Like, you should be able to see all of that and see the way that they change their coaching and their approach per each person. Also, their presence, their ability to command the room, the logistics, their ability to think out ahead of themselves, small classes, bigger classes. How do they adapt? Like, why do you need a test for that? Should be 3 levels, 1, 2, 3. That's it. The other thing too is we have to realize as CrossFitters, like, people showing up to your gym don't give a shit. They don't know the difference. And at least if you were like an L3, CrossFit would know that they're producing really freaking awesome trainers, right? Just like an extension of that L2. Like, nobody needs to know that you passed the test. Shit, I bet you majority of the people working for CrossFit can't even pass that test. Doesn't matter. I want to see people out on the floor coaching. That's where it matters. The other thing too is, like, when you think about the NSCA and like the kinesiology majors and even people that go get their PhD in physical therapy and all this, and then I bring them into the gym and then you realize that they can't even teach somebody how to squat. Great. You passed years of tests. And what does that amount to? An inability to teach somebody how to squat. Remy, welcome back. Welcome back. I won't put you on timeout. I've gotten in a better mood since I've gotten through the majority of my coffee now. We want Sevi. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's completely fair. I just lashed out at you. All right, here we go.
The Jason Fung podcast came out last week, and it was funny how upset people got in the comments about his calories in, calories out, and people are really passionate about calories in, calories out. And it's funny because I think in our early years, we kind of really spoke against that and basically debunked that oversimplified principle in relationship to nutrition, and it was kind of accepted, kind of more mainstream in our community. To look at the hormonal response of foods and how they affect you rather than just calories in, calories out. In the last few years, in the popularity of like Instagram and fitness experts, Instagram fitness experts, it seems that calories in, calories out really regained a lot of momentum because it's really an oversimplification and really easy principle to convey to people, but it's an oversimplification of really complex processes that are happening in the human body in regards to nutrition. So nutrition is much more complicated than just calories in, calories out. That's how you're going to lose weight if you just focus on calories in, calories out. Clearly, quantity and quality matters. Quality also matters. Quantity matters, but more importantly, quality of food and what type of macronutrients, and specifically for people who are struggling with weight, reducing processed carbohydrates. And so you would be much better off reducing processed carbohydrates, eliminating sugar altogether in your diet than you would be counting calories, because you could be counting calories and eating all the wrong stuff. So anyway, people were really upset that Jason Fung, and people were calling him a quack, and people were saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's one of the leading experts, and he's a doctor. So I guess follow the science or follow the experts only matters when it's the science or the experts who confirm what you want to believe. As soon as the scientist or doctor or expert doesn't agree with your preconceived beliefs, then the guy's a quack. Anyways, Dr. Jason Fung is not a quack. Check out the podcast. Check out some of his books. He has some of the best books on fasting, on ketogenic diet. So he's definitely an expert in the field, and really honored that we were able to have him on the podcast. Service cup is up.
That was amazing. That was good. That was good. Instagram experts. Damn. It's funny because you could tell that he agrees a little bit, right? And he might even be a little happy by that the people in the comments are like, hey, the quality of the food matters a lot more. And that's really true. Like, so there's so much stuff with nutrition that gets conflated all the times, especially when you start to swerve into the lane of like, athletes' needs versus the general public's needs and different things like that. And it's funny because we have this like, hey, we look at the athletes as the tip of the spear. We're really aspiring to be like them and inspired like them or for what they're doing. And their dietary needs, especially when they're deep in competition, are going to be completely different than just your average CrossFitter that's going to the gym 3 days a week. And I just think the conversation around nuance is probably more important than like jumping to which side you agree with the most. And I think that general rule of thumb for everybody that's coming into a CrossFit affiliate, eliminating as much sugar out of their diet as possible is the right path. And you know what's hilarious too is right away, whenever I make that suggestion at the gym, people go like, oh, well, if I have a birthday party, I'm going to eat the cake. And I'm like, yeah. And if you just ate cake at birthday parties, you would be fine. It's the other shit you're eating all the time that's not fine. The other thing too is like you have to realize that the food companies are marketing to you in a way that not only is the packaging and the wording and what they're saying trying to convince you that it's not as bad for you as it is, and I'm talking specifically about processed and ultra processed carbohydrates, but at the same time, like the sugars and everything that's in there is engineered and hidden in a way that makes you want to keep eating those foods. Like that's the whole thing is like, how addicted can we get you to our chips? And they say it right on the package. Like, bet you can't just have one. That's right, motherfucker, because we made it so you can't. Right. So I don't know, just taking all that into consideration, if you focus the conversation just more or less around like the mechanisms, like here's the ingredients and here's the mechanisms of what they do inside your body, and here's the marketing tactics of majority of the food companies, and here's all these additives that make you really want to like keep eating all the food. If you focus the conversation more around that, I think that you could probably drop the whole calories in, calories out, I need more sugar, blah, 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 blah. And really get to the heart of the matter on just educating people like why the foods have these ingredients that they do in them. Majority of them you can't pronounce, and what they do inside of your body. Like, hello, just quit worrying about whatever. Cross fat, eliminating sugar is easier than telling a fat person to eat less. Yeah. I mean, if you guys have trained in the gym for any length of time, you know that you're probably starting with sodas, with the liquid sugars. And majority of the people that I've worked with that are obese, that are looking to lose weight, if I start telling them like, hey, you need to stop drinking as much sugar. Like, how many sodas do you have a day? Okay, I have 3. All right, we're going to start with just having 2. Then when you get down to 2, we're going to say, okay, now we're going to have 1 a day. And you slowly like work your way down just off the main thing. Like you're triaging what's the most important thing to eliminate. Because if you take that person, you say, hey, we're going to take all the sugar out of your diet, throw it all away. chances of you being successful long-term are pretty much zero. And so if you slowly step down people off that, alcohol is another one too. Although that gets a little bit tougher because, you know, it's alcohol. So they're addicted to a drug. Not saying sugar isn't a drug, but you get what I mean. But that was funny. Dave getting upset. You think Jason Fong went back and saw some of those comments? And now he's like, shit, we invited you on the show and now you're just getting hammered. Which it's interesting because I would say maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago, when Jason Fong was like getting introduced to our community and everything else, he was like held up like this rock star. And now you see like 10 years later, people are ridiculing him. It's fucked up, guys.
Open this week. And so the first workout on main side I'll do today, it's 21, 15, 9, 9 thrusters, 95 pounds in burpees. So 21 thrusters, 21 burpees, 15, 15, then 9 thrusters, 9 burpees, and then you repeat around 9 again. So that's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard for me because I'm not good at thrusters. And I haven't been CrossFitting a lot because of the adventure race and all of that. Okay.
Oh boy. If you guys want to go back and watch, who do you do with? Maybe Rory and Boz, I think, when it was Matt Fraser, Ben Smith, and Rich Froning doing the thruster burpee workout at the ranch. And then Dave, I'm pretty sure it was Dave, Boz, and Rory did it afterwards because there was 3 lanes there. And you know what's funny is like people give Dave Castro shit when he works out, or they're like, oh, he's like, you know, look at the way he's moving, and like nothing that's like wrong with his movement, right? He's just kind of a lanky dude, so it's a little awkward looking. Or they'll be like, oh man, like he's like, look at his conditioning and stuff like that. And all I see is like, dude, he's out there doing the thing. He's putting his money where his mouth is. And he's always done that. You've always watched him do these workouts, cross workouts and stuff throughout. I mean, there's obviously the deadlift one is a hilarious video that he's had, but he's always put himself out there. He's always done the workouts, and it is what it is, right? And so the fact that we have an executive like Dave that's been around for as long as he has, that's willing to just roll his sleeves up and throw down, especially on camera in a crowd like that, like there's something to be said about that. It's kind of like the person that gets like challenged to the fight in the back, and like everybody knows that dude's gonna just get whooped, but he still just goes out there and stands on business. And you're like, you know what? I respect that. He didn't back down. He knew what the outcome was gonna be, and he still just like went for it. Like there's a certain level of respect that you have to have for that. So, anyways, that's my tidbit about Dave and his working out there.
Let's jump into comments.
Ooh, the comments.
At Extremist 1978, hey Dave, happy belated Patriots Day. Has there been any thought of coming up with an official 9/11 WOD? Just curious. We create workouts based on individuals, specifically individuals, hero workouts who did CrossFit. And so if there's individuals, I imagine we do have a few, I just can't remember right now. If there's individuals who their family reached out to us in relation to that tragedy and wanted a hero workout, that's the process we go through. But for like lump sums of groups or tragic incidents, we typically don't do hero workouts like that. At Darling Zach, would you ever consider making TDC leather weightlifting belts?
Also, too, with the 9/11 thing, I think that there is a, I guess for lack of better words, I say it's kind of cool, but like whatever, people take it out of context. I do like the fact that like each gym gets to make their own, or there's bigger gyms that'll make their memorial workouts for 9/11, or like we did the 9/11 climb with the Ohio State and Schindeldecker and what Debbie and all of them put on. We did it down here locally at the gym, invited our first responders down. So I do think that I like to be able to have the community present like a bunch of them, and then you could kind of pick which one resonates with your group or make up your own. Like I do that on done that on 4th of July or like Labor Day, and I'm kind of a history nerd, so I'll make the numbers have something to do with like the history of the event or the holiday. And so I think that leaving that up to that is fine. CrossFit doesn't need to always have their like official remembrance or tribute workout.
Recently made my own leather belt with a Velcro groups or tragic incidents. We typically don't do hero workouts like that. At Darling Zach, would you ever consider making TDC leather weightlifting belts? I recently made my own leather belt with a Velcro closure. I think you could make a cool version and it would be awesome to see. I have, but so there's a really heavy duty machine you need to make weightlifting belts that I don't currently own. And even if I did, I don't know if I would. I could very easily, especially once I had that machine. But I don't know. It's very time consuming, and I have a lot going on right now. I currently TDC Mercantile, some olive oils are sold out. I actually need to restock that, and some other items are sold out. I just haven't had a lot of time to put what I need to put into it. So currently on TDC Mercantile, there's 250 milliliter tins of olive oil available. No 100s, no 500s. This week or next week, probably next week, that just reminded me of something. I will probably go buy some more oil from my guy locally and then fill the tins. What that reminded me of this week. So on Thursday, I'm flying out to LA for Wodapalooza. Thursday night, we emailed all the athletes who are competing.
Oh shit, he is going to Wodapalooza. When did maybe Dave and I will be on the same flight? Wouldn't that be cute? We could sit next to each other. He'd make me sit in the middle.
What that reminded me of this week. So on Thursday, I'm flying out to LA for Wodapalooza. Thursday night, we emailed all the athletes who are competing in Wodapalooza and invited them to have an hour sit down with us where we're going to discuss the season, next season, and their thoughts on it, their thoughts on what they'd like to see, how it's going to flow, what they think of each stage. And just a number of other topics related to the games and the season in general. So we get opportunity to catch up with a number of the top athletes who competed. And so we sent them an invite last week or 2 weeks ago. I sent them an invite and said, if you plan on competing in the season next year, we'd love to have you guys involved in the discussion. And so I'm excited about that. I'll be there Thursday night for that. And then Friday morning, I'll be at the event for a couple hours. And really excited to see how Dylan set it up and what he has going on. Dylan and I go way back. He actually commentated at the games, or not commentated. He did the floor at the games this year. Did a really good job. He and Kiki and the rest of the commentators. And so excited to go down. This is the first time I've ever been to that one or any of the Wodapalooza events for that matter. So going obviously to talk to the athletes, but also to show support to Dylan and his event.
Oh, that'll be interesting. They won't let us, but it would be cool to film that. Oh yeah, Ortega, you already said it. Beat me to it. Oh shit, Sousa, get us into that meeting with the camera. I would love to, but I really don't think that that he would let us do that. Magnus, Dave flies first class. Who's in the back? He won't be holding hands. Oh, wouldn't you? Well, actually, I was gonna make some smart ass comment like I fly first class, but no, those days are over. Those days were over. It was a good year flying first class, and I'll tell you what, you get ruined. You start flying first class. You go back there with Gen Pop with the peasants, and you're like, shit, I don't even get my pre-flight coffee and an actual mug and a warmed towel mid-flight. I'm just stuck back here with a crying baby and someone who's 3 sizes too big spilling it over to my seat. And of course, they're like, oh, you're kind of a smaller guy, so I could just move this armrest slightly up and let my fat spill over onto you. Okay, that was a bit aggressive. I don't know. But it's true. It's true. I'm in Gen Pop now, about to take off. Oh, awesome. Safe flight. Sousa's feet tingle. Just be sitting there. Like big headphones, like some little kid in my fucking tablet. I feel like I came in at a weird time. You would think so, but no, I've been weird on this show the whole morning. Oh man. All right.
Okay, back to comments. So then Sean Vo 6542 said, challenge accepted, Dave. Some minor tweaks and classic hero workouts. So he laid out a bunch of hero workouts that could possibly be games. A few people from my team did the same. Chase sent me a link. I'll put that link in here of a video he did. A few others sent me. I'm thinking about doing a show where I just go through the games hero workout versions. Maybe not this week because I have that travel coming up down south, but maybe the following week. I think that'd be fun. And I could kind of lay out like how I think and how I analyze a weekend and look at the programming as it all plays together. So I might do that. I just need to get motivated to do it. Also last week, I did a interview with Nicole Christensen with an affiliate, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm going to keep those weekly affiliate shows going. Okay.
The games hero workout show from Dave would be cool for sure. Like I think I would definitely like to see that show, especially him kind of taking in a few of the ideas, maybe ones that he liked, and then maybe ones that were just like a disaster, and then explained why he liked them versus why he thought the other ones were good. I think it's whenever Dave talks about programming, you could see the passion that he has behind it, and he gets like really fired up about it. It's just cool to kind of kind of see inside how his mind works with that and stuff. It would be awesome, although it'd probably be like the show with the fewest words ever. But to get him and JR on a show and kind of go through some of the years of programming. Shut Up and Scribble was doing, I think, recaps of old open to regionals to like games programming. And I love a lot of the older stuff like that, and looking back in time and like seeing the progression and the evolutions of the programming, because if you really do look at it, you kind of like zoom out and you can kind of see the whole entire program from year to year to year. You could definitely see those evolutions from like the games one year into how that spilled over into regionals the next year, how the opens all kind of fit into each other. Like, what was it, 2011, I think it was, where they had 10-minute AMRAP of 30 snatches at 75, 30 at 135, 30 at 165, and as many as possible remaining time at 210. And then the next year, 2012, they had 7 minutes of burpees. And then 2013, you had 17 minutes. And it was the burpees plus the snatches. And the amount of burpees that were put in were kind of based roughly around some of the averages that were taken from the year before. So I think stuff like that is just really cool, as you could kind of see how the progressions and all of that go together, and how they mesh, and why he chooses certain repeats and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. Cody, aisle or window? Oh, aisle all the way. I gotta have a quick escape. Also, too, am I the only one that does this? Like, sometimes I see people getting ready for flights, and they white. Can't even speak. They look like they're like headed to bed. If they got like slides on, or like the neck pillow thing, and like a robe or something. And every time I do that, like, I would like to do that and be super comfortable, but I have to have shoes and like laced up and shit. Cause I'm always like, well, what if I got to run out of here? What if something crazy happens? Like, I at least want to have shoes on my feet, but I don't know. Wait, wrong years. What are you talking about? 2011? Was that? Oh yeah. 2020, 12 was burpees and snatches. Was it? I thought 2012 was 7 minutes of burpees. And then 2011 was, well, maybe I got it mixed up. Fair enough. We won't look them up. I'll trust you guys in the comments, which is probably bad to do. Dang it, double clicked it again.
At B. McGoughlin, Dave, I passed my level 3 exam on the first try, and recently a friend failed his. Neither of us got actionable feedback on where we should focus on improved shows going. Okay. At B. McGoughlin, Dave, I passed my level 3 exam on the first try, and recently a friend failed his. Neither of us got actionable feedback on where we should focus on improving our knowledge. Is there a way to change that so we can benefit a little more from the experience? It feels like a missed opportunity. Well, congratulations on passing. So when someone at the Pearson View Center fails, they are given basically this is a sheet on where they failed.
Wait a minute. I'm going to check that out. All right. What is this? Result: fail. Screening and ongoing assessment, programming, education, training, leadership and management, lifestyle education, professional responsibilities, and the totals. That's cool.
On where they failed. And it's a domain analysis, and it tells them how they did and how many they got wrong, and basically gives you exactly what you're asking for.
Wouldn't it be funny if he flipped that around and it had my name on it? And you guys were like, that's why he doesn't want the written test.
So recommendations on what to work for, and or what to work on. And then it says at the bottom, there's a mandatory 90-day waiting period to retake the exam. As long as your application is valid and your eligibility requirements are current, you can register to retest at any time at that time. If your application has expired, you will need to reapply. Information regarding test eligibility is outlined under the retest section of the CCFT candidate handbook. We hope you continue to pursue the CCFT credential and appreciate your interest in the CCFT credential. Okay, and it starts with, we regret to inform you that you have not passed the CCFT examination. You will receive official confirmation of the result from the CrossFit Certification Department. Below, you'll find a list of the exam domains along with indication of your performance in each area. Use this information to guide your preparation should you decide to retake the exam. Certification exam industry data shows that the majority of candidates who retest are successful. So basically, it exists.
So basically, F off, buddy. That's what he's saying. Matt Burns, have you taken the L3? I have not. No, I have not. That's funny.
friend, if you didn't get that from the Pearson View Center, have your friend email us, email me, dave@crossfit.com, and I'll see if there's a way after the fact that we can get that for him. And he said he recently failed. So, okay. Yeah. Jeff Howard, AFK, are you going to have guest programming again for main site or go back to 3 on 1 off? I think that the Monday through Wednesday, Thursday off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off routine is here to stay. It just works with people's real schedules very well. It's a good routine, good program. Yeah, I'd love to have guest programming back. I think I was like the only one who really liked and wanted guest programming back. There's a lot of people on my team in CrossFit who were not fans of it, especially.
That's what I was going to say. You could tell by the way he's answering that, like he wants it back, but obviously there's other things going on with that, which is funny. The other thing that's interesting too is like I always viewed CrossFit main side as like individual programming. Like you just followed it as the individual. And so it never really worked if you followed it as an affiliate unless you made adjustments, like maybe you followed 2 weeks behind or something like that, because the majority of the people like are most likely going to take a rest day on Thursday and most likely aren't going to work out on Sunday. And so the way that we set it up at CrossFit Livermore is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is obviously just your classic, CrossFit. Thursday tends to be more biased towards like cardio, conditioning, short intervals, longer intervals. We'll do some sort of like more midline work, maybe some stuff that you normally wouldn't see in a typical CrossFit workout. And we do that because not only is the attendance relatively low on Thursdays, but a lot of the people that show up on Thursday also show up on Saturday. They're my 5 or 6 day a week people. And I have to like force some sort of active rest on them. Otherwise they would just go until they, beat their head into the wall. So we usually typically do that on Thursdays. Now, not every Thursday, because I get that some people don't, necessarily have the luxury of coming Monday through Wednesday. And so then if they show up on Thursday and it's always rowing, biking, or running all the time without some sort of like farmer carry or some sort of midline work in there, then typically that would just get a little dull for them as well too. But normally I do make it more cardio bias on Thursday. Then Friday and Saturday, we go right back to the normal classic CrossFit stuff. And then Sunday, the gym is closed. I used to do a mobility class on the Sundays, but just with all the stuff that I do now, it's nice to be able to at least have one day where I have a little bit of time off. And so I've always thought about bringing back the mobility class because it was super important, but it was just really low attended. Not only just because it was mobility, so it's really tough to sell people on stretching for an hour or, doing foam rolling and some soft tissue work. But at the same time, like Sundays are just by and large a lower attended class. Over time, like especially if I had the resources for more coaching and stuff like that, I would definitely have like open gym and things like that where the gym would be open more. So it's not necessarily that like I do it strictly because of programming and trying to keep people safe from themselves, but also it's just a coaching kind of resource pool. So eventually we would have it back as well. But yeah.
See, when some of the guests did things that weren't traditional or core CrossFit, which I loved. I like seeing the boundaries pushed on this stuff. It's not a priority right now. I would like to bring back guest programming, but it's definitely not going to happen in the next few months. I love the guest program. I thought it was cool. See other takes, give attention to some of the other programmers in the space on our platform. So huge fan.
I feel like if they do it though, they really have to lean into like all the way with it. And so here's what I mean by that is I think if you were to have somebody put in the comments, yeah, one love, I vote for JR. Me too. So like if you were to have, let's say we had JR and we knew that he was going to do the whole month of October, I think that last week of September, you would have a show with JR, maybe 30 minutes or an hour and be like, okay, talk about the month of September. We just recently had Person X do it. Like, what did you look at in that programming? Cool. What could we expect out of your programming coming into the month? So that way you're really getting introduced to the person who's doing the programming. You get excited about maybe what's going to come up through that month. And you get to kind of look as they examine each other's programming month to month. So you really get to understand like a huge educational side of it by just listening to those conversations. And shows didn't need to be super long, but you would just lean into it more. And then on that first day when their programming start, you could put the show up there, you could put a profile about them, other stuff like that, which then really adds more value for the person that is doing the programming as well. And I think that would make it really cool, would make it more exciting, and you would just have a bunch of more media around it, which obviously we beat that drum all the time. Sebon Podcast, like and subscribe. Do it now. Like and subscribe. Dang it.
but not right now. At Miss Dizzle Dinger, Dave, is Rescue Randy ever coming back to the games? Thank you for everything you do for the community. I would like to see Rescue Randy back to the games. Actually, at the event I just did, the Sniper Adventure Challenge in Wyoming, they had a Rescue Randy that we had to carry with a tarp. My tarp was really not really a tarp or a stretcher to carry someone, but it worked. And then we had to do some work on the Rescue Randy. They had like he had bullet injury, and so we had to use our med kit to actually work on him. But back to the games, I think when we have had him, I've really liked the events with it. So I think I would like to see him back someday. And Mark Moss 9810. Have you ever thought about allowing fans to vote?
The Rescue Randy thing was kind of cool. I could see how it would kind of fit into the games. That it also kind of pays tribute to the base a little bit, like first responders, military. So I'm not totally against it. I also like when they program stuff for the games that are specifically like only at the games. Like if you guys remember the sandbag and wheelbarrow that they did at the at Carson at the tennis stadium. Like I enjoy when there's stuff like specific to location type programming. So when they ran up and around the berm and things like that, that's pretty cool. CrossFit, I had a bad tarp. I was almost going to say, oh man, did they give you a slippery pig board, Dave? But it sounds like he brought his own tarp. So, or whatever he brought, they had to make do with their own stuff.
On a games workout, similar to the way you guys did with heavy DT. I've really liked the events with it. So I think I would like to see him back someday. And Mark Moss 9810. Have you ever thought about allowing fans to vote on a games workout similar to the way you guys did with heavy DT versus double TT? So I mean, they kind of like answered the question, like not to be an asshole to you, but yeah, we've thought about that and we've actually done it, and we've done it in the open too. Remember, there was one open workout where we basically let the fans vote on 3 different versions of thrusters, pull-ups. So have you ever thought about allowing the fans to vote on the games workout similar way? Yes, always thinking about stuff like that. It's just a matter of the right application of it in regards to the big picture testing and everything else, not testing, big picture plan of the games and everything else going on. It made sense the time we've done it. At other times, it hasn't made sense to force in there. So it can't be forced in, it has to naturally fit. And in regards to like the things you're testing for, having some guardrails and some direction, like with the heavy DT example and the double DT example, and even the Fran thruster. So I think we could play around and get more bold with some of those concepts. And yes, we think about them. And yes, we've done them. Also, I really enjoyed the games workout where no one knew the rep scheme, only movements. You think that'd be something that can happen again in the future? Yes, for sure. Same thing. The timing for those things and the application is so important. And those kind of almost become anchors in the rest of the programming, meaning you almost have to think of some of those concepts and then work around them. And I would say the run where they ran 3 miles and they had to turn around was kind of the same concept as the workout where they didn't know what was going on. Very little different, but and the workout where no one knew the rep scheme, it was also we were only able to do that because they were such straightforward movements and like really no-brainers in how to execute and how to judge. So Mark Phillips, he puts these timestamps quickly. He'll put timestamps in the comments of the week in review, and then I cut and paste timestamps and I put them on the week in review section. So thank you for that. And Mark, email me, dave@crossfit.com. I'm going to set you up with free olive oil, with my olive oil subscription ongoing for as long as you're doing that. So at tdcmontreal.com, we also have olive oil.
No, what the hell? The hell? you just put in the own little timestamps and you just get whatever, huh, Dave? Forget about me over here. Wait, is Mark Phillips? Are you the Mark Phillips that does it? Are you the Mark Phillips? The timestamp Mark Phillips? Well, good for you getting the free olive oil. I ain't never gotten shit from Dave. In fact, one time we were there when we were testing out some internet, and Sevon was like, hey, Dave, can we give Sousa a tour of your office and so he could check out the inside of it? Dave just looks and he's like, no. Oh, the one and only. Oh, well, dude, thank you. That is good. Yeah, timestamp it, Heidi. 4852. Sousa wants olive oil and a back rub with the olive oil. That's what I want. The only thing Dave is giving me is a butt plug. Oh, Taylor's Mona Lisa. Wow. Okay. Dave gives you plenty of shit. Yeah, you're right. He does. he hooks us up with lots of access. Actually, he hooks Sevon up. No, I'm staying on business, Travis. He ain't giving me shit. He only hooks up Sevon. Oh, just kidding. Second class, Sousa. Yeah, I know. Back from Dave. Yep, would be nice. Traps are a little tight.
Subscriptions where you can subscribe and get a monthly 250 or monthly 500, and you save a little on the product. But Mark, I'm going to set you up with that because you support the effort here, and I'm going to get you going. At Get With The Programming, All Hero, so that's Chase, All Hero Workout CrossFit Games at your service. He did a YouTube video on that. And we got something in the works with Chase. We're looking at doing a weekly game show on the CrossFit Games YouTube channel.
What? Is this true? That's awesome. That's awesome. Chase, I wonder if can you give us details on that? Or did you find out about this on the Week in Review yesterday? That's really cool. A weekly game show on the CrossFit Games podcast. Hopefully it's done live too. That's awesome. Maybe. Yeah. Congrats, dude. That's really cool. Excited for that show. Whenever that takes off. That would be awesome. He gave Sousa shit for talking a few episodes. Oh yeah, I did get what was up with that? I was watching that and all of a sudden I heard him say that. And I was like, what the heck? Just out here catching strays. I do probably talk to him too much though. I feel like the time with Dave is very finite, so I try to maximize it until he walks away from me. He's not wrong.
Should launch soon, so that'll be really exciting. Maybe in a couple of weeks it'll launch. And then
a couple of weeks, Chase. We want it now. And then that way we could review your games review show. That's how that goes down.
Major teamwork member running. Thanks for your support and thanks for your contributions to the page. I really appreciate it. And everyone else, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're going to Wodapalooza, maybe I'll see you on Friday. If not, I will see you next week on the Week in Review. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys. Out.
Oh, nice salute. Did he always do that? Should be sooner. Awesome. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, yeah, you like to talk. Yeah, I do. Especially when I round my second cup of coffee. Should have woke up earlier so I could have had it prior to the show. I wouldn't have put, I forget who that was on timeout. I was all cranky when I first got in here. We're okay now. Let's Joseph, like tomorrow sooner? No. I mean, I'll tell you this. From the little bit that I've worked with HQ in the past month or so, if it doesn't come out next week, it's not because of Chase. He'd be ready to rock and roll tomorrow if you gave him the chance. If they're just like, yeah. No, not you, Rambler. I didn't put you on timeout. So I will say that if it doesn't start soon, it's not on Chase. And I can almost guarantee that. Let's see some comments. Oh yeah, there it is. There's old Mark Phillips. Nice, dude. That's cool. Oh, Dave, a popular CrossFit program review show, Shut Up and Scribble, recently reviewed the 2012 regionals and games. They were talking about how crazy it was that there was no machine back then. Uh-oh, Sevon, you hearing this? No machine back then. When now programmers view them as almost required to test fitness. Any chance you'd program a no machine semifinal similar to back when you did the non-barbell regionals back in the day to shock the athletes and prove it's not required for a test of fitness? Boards and barbells, great question. And yeah, you're right. It is almost like standard that you're going to have a bike or you're going to have a row or you're going to have something of that in the test of fitness. And what I like that JR did, especially I like all of his programming. Obviously, you guys know I'm a huge fan of his stuff and just the history of that goes into it with him and how he sees things like evolving over time and all this stuff. and being able to listen to him talk about programming syndicate, where he put in like a chipper, and he was like, yeah, oftentimes chippers have like rowers, or there's like a lot of longer running to establish like the endurance portion of the workout. But when he did his hundreds workout, it was a great like reminder that you don't need to have an endurance piece that has to have a long run or a long row or a long bike to make it that much. It can just be a CrossFit chipper, which was really cool. The best shoes on CrossFit payroll, they'd have to pay me first, dude. Definitely not on payroll. I contribute because I believe in it. I believe in the brand, and I'm a CrossFit affiliate. So I do what part I can when I can, but definitely not on payroll. If anything, it it costs me a lot of money. Let's see. Yes, love the adaptive games. The athletes is beautiful. You know that they're just there to do what they love and what makes them happy to live life well, and amazing inspiration for all of us. Completely agree. Is there actually any questions here? Is it everybody just kissing Dave's ass? Dave, great seeing you at the adaptive games. Love the idea of putting us in the same area as the games athletes. Yeah, the only thing I'd be fangirling and boing all day. Thanks for the picture. The only thing I think would be important there is some sort of timing of like when it played out, so it didn't have to compete with anything else, obviously. And then if you put it too far before the individuals start, like if you're like, oh, we're gonna go like Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like this, then it ends up being like a situation where a lot of people aren't going to fly in. So I do think like how you incorporate that in the games weekend is really important. Look at that profile picture. What are your thoughts on hosting a CrossFit Games symposium consisting of CrossFit Games past champions, elite, individual, team captains, posting? Okay, no, that's stupid. Sorry. Little starch, no sugar. That's the first sentence of CrossFit declaration is unknown to the vast majority of CrossFitters now. Yeah. Correct, White Rabbit. When will you be announcing the season dates and games location after you meet with athletes? The adaptive division shows everyone how CrossFit is for everyone, all levels of fitness and abilities. Agree with that last statement. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder when we'll find out about where the games are going to be. It's clearly going to be on the West Coast. I mean, all things point to that. Even the mayor of Albany or something alluded to that in that press conference that's been picked up. So I do think it'll be on the West Coast. Will it be down south, or will it be up here in the Bay Area? Obviously, we saw him visiting the Golden State Warriors Stadium. That would be crazy if it was out in San Francisco. I've heard rumors of obviously being down south in Carson. Don't know how real that is, but yeah. I mean, if it was in San Francisco, that'd be kind of cool. I could like drive back home each night, hang out. When will you throw the dart again? Never, Kevin. It's never coming back. Okay, Miami. We don't really care about that. If I sign up for the L2 in person, can I also get the lectures online, or would I have to pay for both versions? I'd like to get the most out of the material. Fit Grandpa. I'm guessing if you pay for the L1 in person, you get the whole thing in person. All the lectures included. Have you ever thought of using an old regionals workout as an open workout to see how fit the general population has become compared to the elite competitors of the past? I don't completely disagree with the sentiment there, but I think the open, especially if you're just going to do the first like 3 weeks or whatever, they don't need to be super tough workouts. I think the more accessible it is to the general CrossFit community, the more participation you're going to get. And I was just having this conversation the other day, and I was like, I would just love to see CrossFit HQ just really, really lean into the open. And I mean, all aspects of that, right? Like there's so many different ideas you could do outside of just hosting the open announcements, which obviously that's going to be like the pinnacle each week. But man, I just think there's so much low hanging fruit in terms of making it cooler for the affiliates. And I'm not talking about just like rev share, like, oh, if you get X amount of people to show up, we give you something back in return. Like, I don't need something back in return. I just need tons of like materials to make it easy. Like, give us really cool posters to put up, like give us a leaderboard that I could like print out super easy, or even just send affiliates one that I could like hang up so we could like physically write it up there if we wanted to. Have a bunch of shows leading up to it with roundtable discussion with affiliate owners that have a couple hundred people sign up each year so that we could see how do they logistically do it. If you sent out some sort of a kit like way out ahead of time to the affiliate owners where you're like, hey, most likely you're going to need this or that, shoot, get a partnership with duct tape and give all the affiliate owners like a 30% off buying duct tape from a certain website or something like that. Like I think if you really started to lean into like, okay, how could we make this really easy for affiliate owners? How could we give them a ton of materials and a ton of tools, not only so they could logistically pull it off in the gym, but a bunch of ideas of how they can make it work for them. I know Chris Cooper does some stuff where like they offer like t-shirts and they do these team things and, all that type of stuff. There's a lot of different ways to make that open cool. And that is our mass participatory event. And we don't need like a High Rocks to do that. You could do that with the open. I also thought the other thing that would be really cool to do in having some influence with the CrossFit Medical Society that I do, it's like we should give out a bunch of stuff for like biomarker testing too. So you could like legit say like, this is your annual physical on your health. Of course, you're going to get on there, put your name in the leaderboard because we want to see your work capacity. We want to see what that looks like increasing. But at the same time, like if you really like did it to where, hey, we're going to offer discounts on like glucose monitoring or like getting blood panels drawn, or if you decide for the older population, you're going to wear a heart rate on it so you can measure different things like that, like how long it takes your heart rate to come down from that workout, or just different ways that you can measure health alongside of just measuring work capacity. I think it would just blow it up, right? Like and I'm just spitballing here, just like right off the top of my head. So if I really sat down and started to like process this, especially with like a bunch of different people and ideas, man, I think the opportunities are endless. Your annual fitness checkup. Exactly. I mean, be honest too, like CrossFitters are probably notorious for like not really going to the doctors, right? Like we're relatively really healthy set of the population. A lot of us don't really go in there and utilize that, but that doesn't mean that we don't need blood drawn and check up on certain things like that. So being able to do it and offer it inside of your affiliate and have that be pushed by CrossFit as alongside with work capacity, I think is huge. So there's a ton of ways to do that. Then also too, like really making it easy for the athletes to promote it themselves, because as they tied prize money to open participation, like it's important to have those athletes that really want to lean into participating in the open and helping promote it and like everything else, like make it easy for them to do that as well too. It's like that one time in the year where like you have the intersection of like the tip of the spear, the affiliate owners. You could have it in the garage gym people and stuff. So yeah, I think there's a lot of meat on the bone there, and it'd be really cool for them to lean into it altogether. Last question here. Will there be an option to renew the L2 certificate without having to go to an in-person course, just a refresher course online? That's where I think like Jamie Latimer was saying earlier, that's where I think the L1 and like the testing portion might come in handy, because then you could lower the cost for people renewing their certificates if they've already had it. And so if you were able to like take a test and go through a few of the lectures and do that and renew it, make it relatively cheaper for you to renew, make it more accessible and easier. That's where I kind of agree with that. Not with the L2. I still just think like having taken that course a couple of times, it's just super valuable to do it in person. It's super valuable to do it in person. So I think that the L2 should remain that. And if you want to renew it, you could just do it online with the L1. That's what I think. A lot of meat on the bobe. Bone. Yeah. Annual insurance checkup. Yeah. Or maybe a health insurance alternative, huh? CrossFit, I'm good for a turn and cough. Come on down to the affiliate, dude. I'll hook you up. Oh my goodness. Ganna Cave, where are we on the Kirk killer? They know what happened yet? I don't know if we want to get into all that. My opinions on that aren't all that popular. I don't know. I skipped your question. Lauren Knowles, you skipped my question. Where's your question? Are you sure I skipped your question? Should I refresh it? Oh shit. That kind of scared me. I hit refresh and Dave popped up on the other screen. I thought he like showed up on here. I don't see your question. What's your question? The level 3 one. Can you just retype it in the freaking comments and then I'll answer it? Tinfoil mat time. Oh man. Oh, CrossFit thumbs up, sup 2011. Gosh. Hi Dave. Have you thought about packing all the level 3 study materials, journal guides, into a printed manual? I think many of us would pay for this versus having printed tons of pages ourselves. Oh man. You know what's interesting about that is I talked with somebody that did that in a nice like hardcover bound book and it looked amazing. It looked amazing. I wish I could talk more about it. I can't. It's not like some weird secret. It's just not mine to talk about. And there's no like approval on actually like making that published for print. But I completely agree with you, Lauren. I think that everything that had been in the journal from the past should be condensed. Like you guys know Arnold Schwarzenegger's encyclopedia on bodybuilding. Like we should for sure have one with the journal. We should for sure have one with the journal. And I've seen it and it looks incredible. It looks incredible. I have that book, Matt. No, you don't, Jeff. No, you don't. And I know you don't. Is there a level 10? Why stop at level 4? Are you off jury duty? Did you get out of jury duty? Lauren, I'll show you. I'll send you the photo that I have of it on Instagram if you want, which doesn't do much for you, but shows you that it exists. Yeah, when I saw it, when I was talking about it, I was like, holy crap, that's such a good idea. And I'm all about it. I just don't really know who owns the right to it. The other thing too is like you would have like the book would be expensive because I don't think you wouldn't make like money off a book like that. But I think for all of us CrossFitters, it'd be awesome. The other thing I always thought that would be cool is taking all the years of programming that Dave did and putting it into like a coffee table style book, you know, like something a little bit longer with a cool color and some great behind the scenes photos of each year of the games. So then that way, as you flip through it, you had like an opening chapter or something that Dave wrote about that year. You would have the the programming, maybe a couple blurbs or anything that was like interesting that he would put in there. Then you'd have the regionals and you'd have the games programming and then you'd have the next year. So that would actually be pretty dope, especially after this year. I do believe it's the 20th year of him programming kind of. There was the one year that he didn't. But I think like having a coffee type style book like that, which is all the programming laid out, would be really cool. Again, it would be one of those things that the textbook would probably cost like $150 or something like that because it'd be super expensive to print and you wouldn't be printing a ton of them because it's such a niche thing to buy. But it'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. Some of those things archived like that. Emma, I just uploaded the PDFs, printed them off, stapled in a spiral notebook with a plastic cover. Ain't fancy, but it worked. Yeah, that's cool too. Gets the job done, that's for sure. I love a good hardcover coffee table book. They got one on like the history of Livermore. You know, you have it out here. People come and sit down and they're hanging out. They like thumb through it. Wow, I didn't know the first fire station was on First Street down there. That's crazy. All right. Good times. Thanks for joining me. Maybe Sevan will be back this evening with the show once he gets set up in Newport. Most likely it'll be tomorrow morning for sure with Greg Glassman. And I think Taylor and them fly out. Obviously, Jenny said that she flies out right now as we speak. And then I get in on Thursday sometime. So we'll be down in SoCal. If you guys are at Wodapalooza, come by saying hi, say hi, just like that. And say what's up when we're down there. And I'm sure we'll be doing a ton of live shows from the house and everything else. We'll see completely unhinged Taylor on those shows. Alrighty, gang. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys being here. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, be good to each other out there. Bye-bye.